This episode will be dedicated to the latest release from the Chicago-based group known as Pixel Grip. And if you want to hear more, please stick around. This is all gas, no trash. My name's Adam, and welcome back to the program. Welcome to a brand new episode. I've been wanting to make an episode about Pixel Grip for a hot minute, though I didn't feel like I had enough topics, and there were some unfinished threads that didn't have any resolution at the time, referring to the Travis Scott situation. But we can go ahead and address that in the next segment that I'm going to go ahead and call Pixel Grip Artist Recap or Band Recap. As far as a Pixel Grip recap goes, there were some interesting threads that popped up in 2025. One of the more intriguing thread lines was that Pixel Grip got in a bit of a schism with Travis Scott and his producer, who stole music from their second album called Arena, and I forgot what song specifically they sampled or got an uncleared sample from Pixel Grip, and it ended up resulting in Pixel Grip being quite vocal, not only on their own social media, but turning to television, a news station within Chicago, to make this story known. And also different music blogs and publications were talking about this specific moment. It got to the point where deadmau5 stepped in and started antagonizing Pixel Grip in their comments section of the post relating to this controversy. And Pixel Grip stood their ground and just kind of told them, like, hey, we're kind of getting screwed over here, and we wanted to go through the proper channels, but the person that was responsible for reaching out to us and setting up everything to get this sample clear didn't follow through on that. And perhaps one of the craziest things that would follow afterwards is that Pixel Grip would have this moment where they get the opportunity to meet Trent Reznor, where he gave his seal of approval on Pixel Grip themselves. And I was very curious. I was very fucking curious of what that moment would lead to. And now we have that fucking answer, which is so goddamn cool that I'm losing my shit over it. So let's go ahead and get to the next segment. One of the craziest episodes that we made back in 2025 was for an episode we called Pixel Grip Discussion, where we talked at length about Pixel Grip, their recent falling out of no longer being on Field Trip Records, how I thought they should be in Los Angeles because I think there's bigger and better things for them here. In addition to that, I also made the remark that I thought Pixel Grip could make the jump to film. I think they're capable of scoring film genres like horror, psychological thrillers, and sci-fi. And Josh follows up and says something along the lines of how, he very much believes in the same idea that I do, that there's like this parallel between Pixel Grip and Trent Reznor, and he could very much see Pixel Grip scoring a film or a sequel to Tron. And, lo and behold, we have this this song that they remix from the soundtrack of Tron Ares. And it's an album called Tron Ares Divergence, which is a bunch of remixes that are done by different artists, remixing songs that Trent Reznor had made for the Tron Ares soundtrack. And I'm in utter disbelief that this fucking happened, because we talked about this 11 months ago. And even off the record, like when we weren't recording, I was talking about how I felt like Pixel Grip was going to do bigger and better things. And when I saw that photo of Pixel Grip with Trent Reznor, I already fucking knew. And on social media, the week before that single had released in February 27th, I made a post on February 16th on how I believed that Pixel Grip was capable of making music for film, because I remember Trent Reznor made this track for this character named the Looking Glass, or just for the Watchmen series in general. But there was this song called The Looking Glass, or something like that. And it's for a character named Looking Glass, where he's interrogating this character. And this track specifically reminded me of a song on Arena, which I think is like Dancing on Your Grave or Ruby. But I was like, oh my God, dude, there's like this similarity between these two songs. I feel like Pixel Grip is capable of doing something similar to Trent Reznor. Like, I really fucking believe it. And, now we have this fucking remix that Pixel Grip did for the Tron Ares movie. And I'm just like, well, finally we have some fucking resolution to find out what that moment meant between Pixel Grip and Trent Reznor meeting. And I'm very curious to know what kind of conversations were had. Was it that specific moment where Trent Reznor asked Pixel Grip if they would want to do something like remixing a track from the Tron Ares movie? I don't know, but man, this is the coolest fucking shit ever. And I'm very excited to check out this track because, man, I'm somebody that is not big on covers and remixes because I think the original version is usually the best, and there are very few exceptions where a cover or a remix actually improve or are just as good, or if not better, than the original song. But I have a feeling Pixel Grip is going to exceed expectations because I imagine Trent Reznor knows good music, and good music is Pixel Grip. And for him to see greatness within the band itself, I have a feeling Pixel Grip is going to achieve greatness with this fucking track. It's just, man, I can't be happier for how this whole situation unfolded. I thought the whole Travis Scott controversy was going to be one of the best things that happened to them, and surely that is how this whole thing has unfolded. But I could yap on for hours about Pixel Grip, and if you want to check out our previous episodes for the album review we did about Percepticide and all the other crap we've talked about in previous episodes, in addition to sharing their set at Catch One in 2024, in addition to the cover that they did of Ace of Base, All That She Wants, we have a video called Pixel Grip Bonus that is that specific cover of Ace of Base if you want to check it out. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get to the remix of the song that Trent Reznor did for Tron Ares. This track is called As Alive As You Need Me to Be, the Pixel Grip remix. So go ahead and pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice, and we'll try to include it as one of the end cards for the episode, or at the end of the episode. In addition, we'll include links for the song within the description of the podcast episode and also the YouTube video version. So let's go ahead and give this track a listen. Once again, it is called As Alive As You Need Me to Be, the Pixel Grip remix, going in. All right, welcome back. That was Pixel Grip with their remix of As Alive As You Need Me to Be from the Tron Ares Divergence soundtrack album. Let us know what you think about it in the comments. I say this without any embellishment. This might be the best Pixel Grip song that I've ever heard in my entire life, and it's not even theirs. And that's the crazy fucking part, because just a year ago, they released Percepticide, and I felt like that was the masterpiece moment for Pixel Grip, and my personal favorite song on that album was Split. I felt like that was the best vocal performance that Rita Lukea had given on any song that Pixel Grip had performed or even recorded. But this one just tops it. I'm not even being deceitful or anything. Like, I genuinely fucking mean that. And, you know, everybody else included in the project, we're talking Tyler Oman and Jonathan Freund, if they did in fact worked on this song, this is a fucking great track. And I actually think it supersedes that of Trent Reznor. Go ahead and check it out. Compare the original version to Pixel Grip, and it is leagues above it. Like, we all love Trent Reznor. We all love Nine Inch Nails, but I genuinely mean that Pixel Grip exceeded expectations with this track. I fucking love it. And I don't know what this means for the future of Pixel Grip, but hopefully better things are on the way. Hopefully it results in Pixel Grip eventually touring with Nine Inch Nails, if they are in fact still even touring. I'm not even sure. But one other thing that I want to talk about, unrelated to the song itself, is that this is a fucking amazing moment. I know I keep saying fuck, but it really is an amazing moment, because I remember reading the copyright for the album itself, like the text that goes along with the album, stating how Pixel Grip was in a state of turmoil in 2022, and they nearly called it quits back then. And I remember going to that show at the Wayfair and seeing that Tyler Oman was not part of the live crew for that show. And I think Rita, or somewhere in an article I read that Tyler Ullman was in rehab. And I'm like, shit, man, was that like the starting point when they decided to kind of go, not exactly on hiatus, but they weren't active for an extended period of time? And I'm like, shit, dude, what's going on, man? Like, are they breaking up or what? And then they started resurfacing with these singles like Bet You Do and Split and everything that would come afterwards. But fuck, man, like, what if they called it quits back in 2022 and they never got to this point, man? Like, that is just the most fucky thing possible, where just because they returned back to this and kind of stuck it out, even with whatever internal problems they were having amongst themselves, to write a third album that probably should have never fucking happened, achieving that feat of recording the album and also releasing it, but having this controversy with Travis Scott, elevating their music and themselves to the point that Trent Reznor gave his seal of approval and are now featured on this Tron Ares remix soundtrack. Like, it's just unbelievable, dude. Like, I really am so happy for this band. Like, I've been following them for like a hot minute, and it's just like, dude, good for them, man. Hopefully this allows them to record music as a full-time career. But I don't have anything more to add for this episode, and yeah, wish Pixel Grip the best of luck and more good fortune to them. So anyways, that's going to be the end of the episode, and I'll catch you all later.